You've heard it 1,000 times. This fighter jet has a top speed of Mach 2. That missile travels at Mach 5. But have you ever wondered just how fast is Mach 1? The answer might surprise you. Mach 1 doesn't have a fixed number. In 1877, Austrian physicist Ernst Mach did something at the University of Prague. He picked up a camera, aimed it at a flying artillery shell, and captured the first ballistic shockwave photograph in human history. In the image, right ahead of the shell's tip, a cone-shaped ripple appeared. That was the shockwave created when air gets compressed to its absolute limit. Mach wasn't asking, how fast can something go? He was asking, what happens to the air when an object moves faster than sound? He discovered that what determines air's behavior isn't the object's absolute speed, but the ratio between the object's speed and the local speed of sound. That ratio was later named the Mach number by a Swiss engineer in honor of that photograph of a shell. To understand the Mach number, you first need to understand the speed of sound. Sound doesn't travel instantly. It's essentially a chain reaction of air molecules bumping into each other. One molecule collides with the next, and energy passes along, layer by layer. The higher the temperature, the faster the molecules move, the more frequent the collisions, and the higher the speed of sound. At sea level, in 15 degrees Celsius air, the speed of sound is about 340 meters per second. That's roughly 1,224 kilometers per hour. This is what we usually call the Mach 1 baseline. But for every degree Celsius the temperature rises, the speed of sound increases by about 0.6 meters per second. At an altitude of 10,000 meters, where the temperature drops to minus 50 degrees Celsius, the speed of sound falls to about 295 meters per second, only 1,062 kilometers per hour. What does that mean? The same aircraft flying at 340 meters per second at sea level is Mach 1, but at 10,000 meters, flying at that same 340 meters per second, it becomes Mach 1.15. So Mach isn't a fixed ruler. It's a ruler that bends. It doesn't measure how fast you're going. It measures how many times faster you're going than sound. When speed approaches Mach 1, the air changes its behavior. In the subsonic era, air gets out of the way ahead of an object. Molecules calmly part, like a crowd making way for a slow-moving carriage. But once the object catches up to the speed of sound, the air ahead doesn't get the warning in time. Before one molecule can pass the collision to the next one, the object has already arrived. All the air that hasn't had time to disperse gets compressed into an impenetrable wall. That's the sound barrier. On the 14th of October 1947, American pilot Chuck Yeager, flying the Bell X-1 rocket plane, broke through that wall for the first time over California. In the cockpit, he felt a violent shudder like the plane was about to fall apart. Then, suddenly, everything became incredibly smooth. Because once you're supersonic, all the shockwaves get thrown behind you, and the aircraft rides on the shockwave it's creating. 70 years after Mach took that photograph of a shell, humans finally used their own bodies to verify what he had seen. Above Mach 1, the shockwave cone becomes sharper and sharper. The higher the speed, the narrower the cone. The half angle of this cone is called the Mach angle, and its sine equals 1 divided by the Mach number. At Mach 2, the cone angle is about 30 degrees. At Mach 5, it shrinks to less than 12 degrees. The narrower the cone, the more concentrated the energy. That's why supersonic aircraft create a sonic boom on the ground. When that cone sweeps over your head, the accumulated air pressure is released in an instant, like a thunderclap crashing down from the sky. Today, the Mach number remains one of the most critical parameters in aerospace engineering. Commercial airliners cruise at between Mach 0.8 and 0.85, right below the sound barrier, the sweet spot for fuel efficiency and speed. Any faster, and drag spikes dramatically, making it not worth the cost. Fighter jets often boast a top speed of Mach 2 or more, but most combat missions are actually flown below Mach 1, because supersonic cruising burns huge amounts of fuel, and the sonic boom gives away your position. And the true extreme speeds belong to spacecraft re-entering the atmosphere. A re-entry capsule can hit speeds of over Mach 25. But at that altitude, the air is so thin, there are almost no molecules to collide with, so no significant shockwave cone forms. The real Mach hell happens in the few dozen seconds when it descends into the dense atmosphere. Surface temperatures soar to thousands of degrees, a layer of plasma wraps around the entire capsule, and radio signals get blocked. That's the blackout. From Mach's photograph of a shell, to Yeager breaking the sound barrier, to the re-entry capsule's plasma sheath, it's all the same thread. The meaning of speed always depends on the medium it's moving through. So next time you hear Mach 5 or Mach 10, don't rush to convert it into kilometers per hour. First, ask, at what altitude? At what temperature? In what medium? Because Mach has never been about measuring speed. It measures the ratio between you and sound, and what that ratio means in that moment. An Austrian physicist, with a single photograph of a shell, left us a ruler for measuring speed. It's just a ruler that bends with the air.